moviegoers, and welcome to another edition of Have You Seen It? I am your host, Denise, and the movie I'm going to review this week, I saw in the theater. The name of the movie is 1001. Now, this movie came on my radar through watching TV, and I guess I saw a commercial about it, and I was like, "Ooh, wow, I really want to see this." But then it went off my radar, and I found it again. So I don't know how long it's even been in the theaters, or if it was in select theaters. But anyway, 1001 stars Teyana Taylor, Aaron Kingsley Adatola, Avon Courtney, Josiah Cross, and William Catlett. Those are the main characters in this movie. Wow. This movie takes place in New York City, 1994 to about 1994 to about 2005, and mostly in the Harlem area. So Teyana Taylor stars as Inez. She is a woman who has just been released from prison, and she's really in a bad place in terms of, okay, I'm out here, out of prison, but I've got to find a place to live. I've got to find a job, and I'll do the rest from there. So she sees her son, and I'm going to put the word son in quotes here. She sees her son soon after she has been released from prison. She sees him outside of the foster care facility where he has been while she's been in prison. So he is a ward of the state in the foster care system, and he has been in that situation ever since she went to prison. So she attempts to reconnect with this child. This child knows who she is, but at the same time is a little reluctant to engage her in conversation other than kind of like one word answers and just eye contact, but no real verbiage happening. So during his foster care stay, he has an accident. Her young son, his name is Terry, and he's about 6 years old. He has an accident in the foster care home where he's living. It lands him in the hospital. Nothing major, but, he's in the hospital with some, nicks and cuts and so forth. She finds out about it. She goes to visit him in the hospital, and at that point she starts to question him about how this happened, the circumstances surrounding it. How's he doing in the foster care home? Does he like the family? Does the family like him? And he answers those questions, and then she finally asks him, would you rather live with me? His response is yes, and she proceeds to basically kidnap him from the hospital, and these two are on the run, so to speak. And in doing so, she finds shelter, finds a couple of places to stay until she gets on her feet and actually is able to afford an apartment for the two of them. Knowing that she has, committed a crime, she has told Terry that you must stay in the home. Whenever I'm not here, you've got to stay close to home. You can't go outside. Don't tell anybody about us and our family situation, because you and I now are in this thing together. And oh, by the way, I'm going to change your name just a little bit so that we are not, no one finds out about us. So that's how their life progresses. And this woman is protective of not only herself and her personal space, but of her child. She is combative. She's, got a bit of a temper. She will pop off on anybody at any given time. She has a filthy, foul mouth and has no qualms about, dropping F-bombs in front of her child and anybody else nearby. As the story progresses, Terry grows up. So you see Terry at 6, and then you see him at 13, and then you see him at 17. And in between that time period, Lucky, who is played by William Catlett, is a former acquaintance or boyfriend of Inez. And so they kind of reconnect. He too has spent some time in prison. So they reconnect and they kind of, create a family bond between the three of them. But there's always conflict. There's always an argument. There's always something that causes the family to kind of, be at odds with each other. If it's not Terry and the new father, it's Terry and his mother. It's Terry and Lucky. So this goes on and on throughout the movie. So it's just under 2 hours, but there were times when I felt that 2 hours because there are some pieces, some places in this movie where maybe the dialogue just kind of dragged on, or a particular scene with not much dialogue kind of dragged on, and their day-to-day life was pretty much the same. You see a little gentrification happening in this movie. The 90s vibe was there. So the characters, especially Tayana's character, Inez, she was in full tilt in the 90s fashion, her hair, her makeup, everything. She played this part very well. There are some actresses when they have to play that hard female who is just angry with the world and, got a lot going on, a lot of baggage she has to unload. A lot of actresses, just my opinion, you can tell they're acting that, you're trying to play this hard character, but you're not quite believable. Tayana Taylor played this part very well, and it didn't seem to be a stretch. Could be, but if it was a stretch for her, she delivered. And so there is a plot twist as you get towards the end of the movie, maybe the last third of the movie, when Terry is now in high school. His guidance counselor has realized that, he's got some potential and he has the ability to be accepted into a gifted program at a, special tech high school. But things take a turn. So I'm going to leave that there, and then you'll find out, if you go and watch this movie, what that plot twist was. So that's my review for this week, 1001. If you can still catch it in theaters, I strongly suggest you, put 2 hours aside and go check it out. All right, folks, I'm going to jump into my Nailed It for this week. My Nailed It is one of my favorites, Denzel Washington in The Equalizer. And I've seen Equalizer 1 and Equalizer 2, both very, very, very good. But I'm telling you, Denzel Washington played that part to the hilt. He's got a little, OCD happening. He's a highly trained specialist in some area of combat warfare, if you will. But as a vigilante, he is methodical, This movie, everything he did was suspenseful. Every time he appeared on screen and in a situation where you knew, okay, something is about to happen here, you were locked in. And he disposed of people quite masterfully, if you will. So he is my nailed it in Equalizer 1 and Equalizer 2. And I know Equalizer 3 is out there somewhere, and I think he's going to be equally as captivating. So there you have it. All right, folks, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that like button. And we are available on every podcast platform in the universe. Just type in, "Have you seen it?" with Denise, and there I will be. All right, moviegoers, you know what to do. Until next week, I need you to go see a movie because I'm going to see a movie. Bye-bye.